and Jenny. Another line for you. Land of Dope and Glory.
This is about the possibility of Ian Duncan Smith becoming Prime Minister. Very first time that identical twins have ever led the Conservative Party.
Yes, it is extraordinary.
Although you only ever see one of them at a time. I don't know why that is. Probably because it's not to confuse people.
Which paper was it you read this in?
That was in the Guardian on Monday.
Right. Which Guardian was that then?
That was the National Guardian, usually known as the Manchester Guardian. It was edited by C.P. Snow until 1954.
Right.
And it's now currently edited by Alan Rusbridger.
Harry Potter.
Beg your pardon?
Harry Potter.
You just said that out loud. Did you know that? It's a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Yeah. Pay no attention.
It's because he's stoned, which we can all be now, apparently.
We'll be stoned, yes.
Yep,
yes,
we can all
apparently.
get stoned without fear of arrest.
Well, we can have it confiscated but not arrested for possessing it. Yes,
Yes, the actual material is arrested and not the person.
Which will be a lot quicker, I think.
Then it gets locked up away in the police station until they have a party.
So much the same as it was before, yes. So what has the Tories' response to this been thus far?
Anne Widdecombe's stepped forward and said it's a dealer's charter. She was saying these words, she didn't have a clue what she was talking about.
Well, she's obviously stoned.
Yeah.
Or maybe should be.
What did Duncan Smith say?
Ian and Duncan Smith, please. Let's not have any favouritism.
I think
Ian would be very upset if he was being left out.
I think they both said that they were in the middle of a policy review.
That's right.
So
Probably arguing with each other.
Yeah. And who's the big royal drug connection?
Oh, Tom Pugh-Bowles, perhaps, yes, has been known to... no longer.
No.
So he says?
He does.
He's clean now, is he?
So he says.
He's still got that police caution, though, hasn't he, for Class A and B?
That's right.
Yes. So just needs C and he'll have the full set.
Is there an A star?
He blamed it on what, Tom, at the time?
Tom what? But it used to be in EastEnders. Lofty. Wasn't his fault, surely.
He blamed it...
Stress.
He blamed
Did
it
you
on
watch
what,
EastEnders?
comma, Tom, question mark.
Do you watch EastEnders?
Used to.
Yeah, some amazing programme. I was watching the National Television Awards the other day, and I never watched EastEnders. I'd never really seen it. But it's every bit of EastEnders always like people whispering in a threatening way. He's like, I told you not to do that, didn't I? Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, leave it out. It's like... Is that what it's always like? Just like that?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it has been
They've
for
got a
many years.
writer's Bible. There are only two scenes. There's someone comes in and says, "What's going on?" And then the other one says, "Leave it out." And that's it. That's the end of the programme.
You don't understand, Dolly. I ain't going to talk to you anymore.
Extraordinary. It's almost like we were in Albert Square, isn't it?
Shut it.
So, what is the title of this war?
Well, they debated over this. For a while, it was infinite justice, and then they changed their mind to eternal justice.
Yes, I think they eventually settled on enduring freedom.
Enduring freedom.
Enduring freedom.
Right,
yeah.
I think they should just call it Find the Guy Before He Anthrax My Backyard.
Although this was announced by Colin Powell, who doesn't seem to be able to even pronounce the word Colin.
No, he's a dove, though, isn't he? He's one of the moderates.
In this particular war, he is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was his idea to drop these, what they call the humanitarian aid packages onto the heads of the Afghans. And I don't know if you saw the actual contents of the, they're called daily food rations, and then underneath it says, a gift of the people of the United States. A gift.
But it says it in 3 languages.
Yes.
Which are...
Spanish, French, and English.
Good.
And the actual ingredients are freeze-dried red beans and rice, peanut butter, jam. These are all the ingredients of a Cajun child's diet, but not a... and a moist towelette. I'm not making this up. A moist towelette. And it says in 3 different languages, do not eat. Now, given that there's a 3-year drought, I would imagine that would be the most mouth-watering item in the entire...
So how have the newspapers reacted, and TV, and...
Calm, measured.
But According to the British papers, we're now living under anthrax terror in this country, a wave of panic. Everybody's worried about anthrax.
Well, News of the World said it might happen, and do you know what they suggested that we did?
Piss on your own hanky? That's what you used to do in the First War, during the mustard gas.
Did they?
Yeah, and the troops, yeah, piss on your hanky, I would breathe through that.
Did it work?
No, but it gave you something to do.
And the troops, of course, have been entertained by Jerry and Steps and Bobby Davro. If that doesn't put them in the mood for killing people, I don't know what will. And, of course, Jo Moore, the PR officer.
Yes.
Stephen Byers.
Yes, she's rather been buried in this first question, hasn't she? This is the woman who was watching the Twin Towers, the government spin doctor, and 1 hour after the first plane hit, she sent an email saying this would be a really good time to bury any bad news. How about local councillors' expenses? Unbelievable, an hour later. God, we're accused of being cynical. I mean, we're not in her league. Did you see her apology? It was an absolute classic New Labour apology. She said, I'm very, very sorry, mainly to her bosses for causing the embarrassment. No apology to the victims. And then she said, but, hey, we all make mistakes, and the important thing is that we learn. Just can't resist telling us off, New Labour, even when they've made the most enormous cock-up. I thought the important thing that was she was sacked.
It's the war on terror in Afghanistan, where America's precision bombing of military targets has intensified with the use of missiles so accurate they can hit the exact centre of a big red cross. Paul and Jenny, your royal appointment.
Oh, it's our boy, Will. Will Wales there, going to university at St Andrews, watched by all the crowds, and the press, who dutifully went away, except for this man's crew.
Prince Edward, yes.
Yep, they stayed, upset his brother.
And how cross is Charles?
Charles is very cross indeed. Charles is incandescent.
Yes, that's what he said. A palace aide said he didn't just call him an effing idiot, but an effing everything under the sun.
We don't need quotes, we got Jenny Bond here. Now, what did he really say?
Well, I think he was very cross indeed, yes, Ian, she says diplomatically.
So did Edward know that he was stalking his own brother?
Don't know.
Don't know?
Don't know.
Point of being a royal correspondent.
Murky. Very murky.
He must have known, because otherwise, if he didn't know, he'd just be sort of like an ignorant tosspot, wouldn't he? And we know he's not that.
Is Edward, do you think, the Queen's favourite?
Well, I think he is the favourite because he's the youngest. The babies of the family often are.
But aren't they quite keen to give him the title of Duke of Edinburgh as well when he pops it?
God. Not another one.
This is Prince Edward's decision to stop making TV shows about the royal family. According to the Mirror, the Ardent crew were filming for a series Edward had sold to a US cable TV network, the A to Z of royalty, although Edward was apparently astonished to learn they wanted as many as 26 episodes. That series has now been axed after only getting as far as C. Still, at least that covered Prince Philip.
And finally in this round, Paul and James, bonkers with power.
This must refer to the Labour Party. Power, bonkers.
Right.
It can't be Jack Straw.
No.
It can't be Gordon Brown.
No.
Bonkers? Power?
No.
Must be the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Strangely, it isn't Blair. It is, in fact...
Ed Blunkett.
No. Gordon Brown.
Is it?
the answer, yes.
He's the one you
Really?
ruled out. You said it wasn't him.
Yeah, you really
So
are.
much for your political nous.
Absolutely. I didn't know he was
You
bonkers.
wrote a whole book about him and you didn't
Well,
spot he was bonkers.
I didn't spot he was... That's terrible.
Well, this is
That's
according
hopeless.
to a senior cabinet minister, of course.
Ah,
Bonkers with power is how they described him.
yes.
According to your book, Brown is rather aggressive in
Aggressive?
cabinet meetings.
Only from time... Well, aggressive in a silent way.
How are you aggressive in a silent way?
He's got a machine gun but doesn't tell people about it.
He broods. He broods. That's what he does.
He was described in your book as having the social skills of a whelp.
No,
That's unfair to Welsh.
I
So you're on very well with other crustaceans, as a matter of fact.
must really object to
Apart
this
from
suggestion.
seahorses.
I quoted someone else who said they had been told by a civil servant that he had the social graces of a
That's
whelp.
just weedy.
But it's not true. Well, I don't think it is true, actually, funnily enough.
And is he going to be next Prime Minister? And was there a pact?
There was a pact that somebody thought was a pact and someone else didn't think was a pact. And there was a deliberate ambiguity which has been preserved for 7 years and which will continue to be preserved until it explodes and they're both in various degrees unhappy.
So was there someone who thought there was a pact, Gordon, and someone who thought there wasn't?
How long have
Tony?
you got? I mean, we go round and round, but yes. There was
No, straight answer. This is what you do on Today. Forget the waffle. Let's have an answer, Jim.
There was a deliberate...
No, Jim, I asked you, was there a pact? Was there a pact?
No,
No.
You haven't answered. You say no. Oh, yeah. I was
No.
going to get the audience to
Right,
say,
okay.
was there a pact?
No.
What if the whole
See,
audience
he didn't let me get a
asked you?
word in edgeways.
Democracy
No.
in action. Get the audience to ask the question. What are you looking at me like that for?
You're going to orchestrate it.
Like I've suddenly suggested you put your penis in a raspberry jelly. Ask the audience. On the count of three, everybody just say, where was there a pact? Okay, on the count, we don't have a practice, we go straight through it.
Right.
On the count of three, 1, 2, 3.
No.
Ian and Ross, the same old faces for you. Pollyanna the reindeer, Fang the chick, Sonar the fox, and the Beatles.
Oh, I know, they're all vegetarians,
Oh, that's a good answer.
except the fox.
Yeah, Fox isn't a
Who
vegetarian.
quite likes chicken.
Yeah, he loves chicken. Oh, Foxy.
Yeah, he
The
was
Beatles are the odd one out,
Why is that then?
because they're the ones who recorded records.
Have you not heard Sonic the Fox?
Oh, it's true, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's very
This
good.
is Sonar the fox, I think you mean.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of Sonic the Fox. He's
was
more
better.
garage.
Do you want a clue to this answer?
Yeah, go on, go on.
The answer is in a Beatles song that Ringo sang the lead on.
Little help
Well
from my
known then.
friends. Yellow Submarine.
Yes, good. Yellow Submarine is good.
Ah, no, right, I've got it. In the Second World War, right, there was a reindeer that the Russians gave, or it might be the Finns, gave to the British, and it was put in a nuclear submarine, or not nuclear submarine, it wasn't nuclear submarine then. Put in a submarine, and it was brought back in this country 4 months later, and this reindeer came out. It was a gift from some people to us people over here. So they've all been in submarines. The Beatles have been in a submarine, except they've not really been in a submarine because they wrote about it, so they're in a cartoon version. So the chick, the fox, and the antelope have all been in submarines, but the Beatles haven't, because they just wrote a song about it.
It is a good and correct answer.
I remember it's one of the early days of the Second World War. A reindeer was on board a submarine for 4 months.
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
HMS Trident.
Was it?
Yes. And Fang the chick lived on board HMS Repulse in the 70s, and he eventually retired.
With a full pension?
I believe so, yes. And Sonar the Fox lives on HMS Ocelot in Chatham at the moment.
Does it actually live in there? I've been around HMS Ocelot in Chatham.
Yeah, did you see a fox?
No.
No.
There was no fox in there.
No.
That's because he was round the back in the bin.
Being cunning.
A naval spokesman said he's become a bit of a local celebrity. And if you've ever been to Chatham, you know how easy that is. Pollyanna the reindeer was taken aboard HMS Trident, where the crew were at a loss as to what to do with it. According to one rating, we tied the reindeer's legs together and took him up the torpedo hatch. Well, they had been at sea a long time. Paul and James, your odd circular. The Trials of Robo-Bear.
I think this may be the toy that went wrong. This is the Rogue Bear that sort of like was being produced for Christmas, and you pull a little string and it says, "Let's have a picnic," or "My name's Norman." And there's one in 100 of them has an extra thing. You pull it and it says, "Let's kill the Prime Minister."
It's not actually that story, no.
Surely there can't be 2 stories without a headline.
I've seen this story. There is someone who's invented an anti-bear suit
Yes.
for those moments in life when there are bears coming for you. We all need them when you're just getting on the train, getting a coffee, and there's a bear. So he's invented this bear suit.
This man does actually live in Canada, so it makes slightly more sense.
Of course, you see. Yeah,
Because
very
What is
dangerous.
this suit then that repels bears? Is it sort of like very formal, wide lapels or something? The bear goes, "Oh, that's so 50s," and runs away? How does that work?
What does it spray? Does it spray something?
Does it spray goat's urine, this suit?
Why?
Well, bears can't stand that.
How do you know that?
Have you never been on holiday and you see a bear walking through and suddenly there's a goat up on a mountain pissing on a bear and you go, "Yeah," a bit, and he runs off? It's one of, you can't, in nature, it's one of the things that bears can't stand.
Yeah.
That and hula hoops.
This guy's name is Troy Hurtubise. The idea is that you can go and get near to bears.
And then do what?
Does he go after the bears or do the...
Play cards words with him or something? Or twist? What have you got? Stick?
Look at the way...
You smell a goat's piss. You've been up the mountains.
Is Troy his real name, or did he just adopt it as part of this pose?
It's Hurtubise his real name.
Oh, yes.
Troy Hurtubise.
Well, you wouldn't make up a name like
He sounds
Hurtubise.
like...
Well, of course you would.
What would you change
That's exactly
it from?
why you do it.
All names are made up. They don't grow. Angus was once a made-up name.
That's a sheep's name, you know.
Is it?
I don't know. I think it's a cow, but there we are.
Well, it's not nothing to boast about either way. Is it true that you had to change your name from Steakhouse for equity reasons?
It's a Canadian inventor, Troy Hurtubise, who spent 15 years developing a bear-proof suit in order to test the reinforced titanium suit. Mr. Hurtubise has been hit by a truck, beaten with baseball bats and knocked over with a tree trunk. He's now ready for the ultimate challenge, to sit on a sofa with Christine Hamilton. Mr. Hurtubise claims to have carried out more than 10,000 hours of close-quarter bear research, as a result of which we now know that they do indeed shit in the woods, but not nearly as much as a bear researcher trying to escape in a metal bodysuit. Ian and Linda, your delayed departure.
Stephen Byers, leaving the government. Musical differences, I think. Don't know what the government's going to be like without him. It'd be a bit like the Beatles without Yoko.
He's resigned, then?
He's resigned, he's finally gone, but no one's quite sure why. Because there are just so many things he should have resigned over. We don't know which one it is.
You don't often get a minister against transport, do you? If you travel on the trains, it's a nightmare now in Britain, complete nightmare. Every journey you undertake is identical to the one undertaken by Omar Sharif in Dr. Zhivago. Like this ancient knackered rolling stock just crawling painfully across the land with desperate women running alongside it, chucking their babies onto it. I'll never see Pearly Oaks, but my child might.
I mean, he said he'd made some mistakes. He didn't say he'd lied. He said, I'll be remembered for lying, but I didn't.
He'd become...
Which, of course, is a lie.
He said he'd become a distraction from what the government is achieving.
Which is nothing.
I'm glad you did give a reason, though, because it's awful when people just go off and they don't tell you why.
Yeah.
Tony Blair be sat there thinking, well, what was it?
I think he's gone because of the Daily Express. We have them to thank, as they modestly pointed out on their front cover. Victory for Express as Minister finally answers our call to quit.
But it is actually true that he has gone because of the Express, because the last mess he got into was over the donation from the owner of the Express, Mr. Dirty Desmond.
Why is he called Dirty Desmond?
It's his official name.
Changed it by default, didn't he?
He did. It used to be Richard, but if you're running a porn empire, you don't want to be called Richard, do you?
Well, I don't know.
The abbreviation's a bit obvious, isn't it? The Labour Party said they were embarrassed about this donation from the porn mag, and then he invites Desmond to tea straight away.
So that would be, he comes round for tea and Tony says, oh, you must be so hot in that suit. I'll pour the tea. It's getting quite steamy.
After Mr. Byers' declaration that he'd sacrificed himself for the good of the party, the Daily Mail's verdict was shameless cant. Close but no cigar.
This is the Hartlepool monkey that stood for mayor. And as soon as he became the mayor, he said, I'm going to be serious, I'm no more monkey.
And he also promised a free banana to every school child in Hartlepool, and now he's saying, well, no, it's got to be costed. I think he probably had a conference with himself where he said, from now on, I am new monkey.
This bloke's done a U-turn in the space of minutes.
And at least sell out stage by stage, maybe be a chimpanzee.
Leave the head off.
What was his name?
Hengus.
The name of the monkey or the man?
Of the monkey.
Hangus.
Angus.
For what reason?
Because all really anybody knows about Hartlepool very much, very sad thing, is that in the Napoleonic Wars, when the French people were depicted as monkeys, a boat arrived in Hartlepool, shipwrecked, nobody on it at all, except for a monkey. So the good people of Hartlepool thought the monkey was a French spy, and they hung it. And this is all anybody knows about Hartlepool, especially in the North East. That's what they all call Hartlepool people, monkey hangers, which is very sad. Because I think whatever happens, there could be some guy from Hartlepool could come out with a cure for all known diseases, and he'd be halfway through the press conference describing it, and then someone would get up and go, "You hung that monkey, you thick twat!"
Yes, this is the unusual results in the local elections. Angus the monkey was elected mayor of Hartlepool, the town which has Peter Mandelson as its MP. So now they've got the monkey and the organ grinder. Paul and Neil, your roundabout question. Presidential suite.
The clue's in the pun, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Prescott, John Prescott.
John Prescott.
Yeah.
Is he off to Bali?
Yeah.
With 30 people on something to do with Save the Planet.
Yeah.
So they're going off and spending a couple of weeks over there at £1,000 a night each.
Yes.
Yeah, seems quite a good use of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, lovely.
Environmental summit it is, to discuss damage caused by jet fuel.
Nice.
I can tell you, the girls at Bali are quite something.
Some of them aren't all girls.
Yeah.
What about when you first went to Bali with Captain Cook?
So why is it unnecessary for him to go at all?
Because it's always the money. And why should we pay for his holiday?
Absolutely.
They need something for Prescott to do.
Yeah.
They sit there in Downing Street thinking, God, where can we send him? Bali, that's a long way away.
Yes, well, where was Prescott then during the last budget?
He was Fiji.
He was in Brazil.
Yeah, that's right.
On another...
They're all somewhere you can go diving, aren't you? Because that's his hobby.
Yes.
Minister for Scuba Diving is how it's referred to, I believe, in the Times this week, yes.
Imagine being a fish and seeing Preza dive at you.
On Bali, according to The Sun's travel editor, holidaymakers can discover monkeys, wild pigs, buffalo, iguanas and pythons. For most people, a tour. For John Prescott, a barbecue. Paul and David, your issue of note.
Oh, this is the £5 note scandal, isn't it? Serial numbers. You're
Serial
right,
numbers.
Serial numbers.
Yes.
High technology, unforgeable.
Yeah.
They can't be counterfeited at all.
No.
Problem is they've got no numbers on them.
No.
Right.
The numbers rub off.
They rub
Yeah,
off.
they do. And what was the
It's like a
explanation?
scratch card, really.
Yeah.
Very much like
And you win £5 every
Exactly.
time.
You scratch the Queen's face off and you find Jimmy Tarbuck underneath. It makes money fun.
Yeah, so why are the Bank of England so proud of this note?
As David said, you
Can't forge it.
Can't forge it. It's unforgeable.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't
most-
need to, because it's been withdrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There is a precedent for this. This happened before.
That's
They had
right.
to withdraw £5 notes. Why was that?
The £5 note in 1946 was withdrawn because there was a rather unforgeable... King George was on the note, and if you folded the note in a certain way, it looked like he was having sex with a horse.
They got the date of George Stephenson's death wrong.
That's right.
Why they had to withdraw them. What do you mean that's right? That's nowhere near what you said.
George Stevenson, sex with a horse. I think you'll find they come together in my world.
The word George was in both answers, which is
Yeah, exactly.
usually worth 10 points for Paul.
Yeah.
It started already. So who's replaced George Stephenson on the new note?
Frankie Howard.
Elizabeth Fry.
Top comedian, social reformer,
Yeah.
same difference.
Actually the same, aren't they? What else is she famous for?
Oh, no, don't. No, don't. Social reformer.
Face.
Yeah. Somebody said to Elizabeth Fry, do you know that 10 people living in one bed? Oh, no, surely not. No, please. Oh, dear. That was her. Up Pompeii with Elizabeth Fry.
Yes. And why has there been a huge increase in £50 notes? You might know this, David.
because people have got more money to spend, more disposable income.
Yes.
You need larger notes. I mean, smaller notes now, not that
You're not in the
usable.
cabinet, are you?
No.
Sorry.
I think I could be. I think I could do as good a job probably out there as what's being done.
What would you like to be Minister of?
I think you should be Minister of Suaveness.
Minister?
It's just the tan. It's so fantastic. It's a beautiful mahogany stain, if I may say. When you're at a furniture sale, when you stand in front of a wardrobe, you disappear, don't you?
But can I tell you how I acquire it?
Oh, do.
Please do.
I buy myself an air ticket probably about 3, 4, 5 times a year, and I go out to a warm climate and I just sit round the pool there and then I take in the sunshine.
Oh, and you end up looking like Judith Chalmers' nan.
Paul and Boris, your fabled beauties are Martine McCutcheon, Anne Robinson, Harpo Marx and Ian Duncan Smith.
Anne Robinson was recently in the news, wasn't she? Because, amongst other things, it was revealed that she has writers writing those lines for her in The Weakest Link. Ian Duncan...
He doesn't have the lines written for him.
Ian, no, it's all his own work, is it? Which one of the twins do you get on well with better? Ian or Duncan?
I'm a great admirer of both.
Yeah.
You put it that way.
Yeah. So Harper Marx might be the odd one out because he was famously professionally mute.
Mhm.
So does that make him the odd one out? And the others have had lines written for them?
Is the wrong answer.
It's about losing your voice, this, isn't it?
Oh, yes, because she lost her voice for My Fair Lady, didn't she, Martina?
And Ian and Duncan Smith, in one of those rare viral infections, both lost their voice.
Well, it's very catchy. You know, brothers would get that sort of thing.
It's something that actually Martine does every night, if you know the plot of what she's in at the moment.
Elocution. Elocution lessons, yes.
Very good.
Oh, Ian Duncan Smith's had elocution lessons and make him sound less like a twit.
Yes, which means...
Would you ever do that, Boris?
I don't think that can possibly be the right answer.
Harpo Marx hasn't changed his voice for professional reasons.
Is the right answer, effectively, yes.
And what did Duncan Smith have done to his voice? This is an amazing allegation.
Well, according to a Tory source, he had elocution lessons.
I've never heard this before.
I know he had Japanese ancestry, so are you suggesting he used to speak with a slight Japanese accent? So, Mr. Blah. And then he softened it.
Yes, no.
Yes, no?
Yes, no.
You see, that's Duncan Smith.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's the trouble having two people as leader of the opposition. They can't agree with each other.
What is this thing about them being two people? What does
Ian and Duncan Smith. It's the first time identical twins have ever led a major Conservative party.
I see, it's a conceit.
Yes.
It's a conceit, Boris.
Do you know what his favourite catchphrase is, Ian Duncan Smith?
After you, Ian. No, after you, Duncan.
No, his favourite catchphrase, Boris, is they don't like it, they do not like it. Is that true, Boris?
True. You seem to know an awful lot about this.
Do you not know very much about your leader?
No, I do. I'm happy to say there was a very important...
It strikes me you didn't know there was two of them. So, how much you know is really up to the question.
You claim you know a lot about your leader. I think we should probably put you to the test. Your name, please?
Your specialist subject?
My name's Boris Johnson.
No, it is in fact Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. Isn't it?
It is.
And your occupation, Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson?
I'm a Member of Parliament.
Well, we'll gloss over that one. Your specialist subject is Ian Duncan Smith, whether you like it or not, and your time starts now. What is Ian Duncan Smith?
Do I have to do this?
Yes.
What is Ian... I've never seen this on this show before.
What is Ian Duncan Smith?
I might like to ask the audience if I don't know.
You can phone a friend if you got one.
No. What is Ian Duncan Smith's first name?
Don't ask silly.
George is his first name.
There's three of them.
What percentage of Ian Duncan Smith is Japanese?
1/8.
What percentage?
I'm sorry. Oh my God.
No, 12.5% is the answer. Yes. What did Ian Duncan Smith drop in 1992?
His testicles.
His hyphen is the answer. What did he do in the House of Commons canteen in June this year when staff told him it was too early to buy breakfast?
What is such a trivial question?
No.
How am I supposed to know the answer to this ridiculous question? This is an insult.
I'm sorry, it's your leader. You should know about these things. He threw his tray in the air and stormed out, apparently.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, yes, no, it's gospel. And finally, which Hollywood actress once propositioned his father?
Betty Grable.
Is the wrong answer. It's Marilyn Monroe. And at the end of that, Mr. Johnson, you've scored no points.
Well, I think it was
And so to the audible relief that accompanies our final missing words round, a writhing mass of suspect headlines with some dubious black oblongs, including some more or fewer from this week's guest publication, the literally awesome Cross-Stitch Crazy. So stand by for Maggie was what, says Le Pen?
Hairy.
Right.
Insatiable.
A man.
A great man is the answer.
Ah.
Next is Betis y Coed what?
Misspelt.
Is Betty co-ed or does she just walk that way?
Is it stitchable, is the answer.
Yeah.
This is Beryl Norman of Blackpool, who wants to stitch a map of Betis y Coed onto the wall of her caravan.
What is a caravan made of?
Well, something you obviously can hang something up on the wall of.
Well, you've certainly done your research this week.
Next, BBC sorry for what?
This programme.
Probably are, but that's not the answer.
Anne Robinson.
No, dog meat jibe is actually the answer. But it is the BBC who's had to apologise to South Korea for a joke on its website that went, over here a dog is for Christmas, over there it could be for breakfast, lunch or dinner. So apologies again.
There's one of the few countries in the world where you can whistle and your dinner comes running towards you.
And again. Next, opulent offices ban what?
Egg sandwiches.
Is the right answer.
I like egg sandwiches.
I think we're all with you on that. And finally, Prince Edward's what are nice?
New design banknotes.
Potatoes.
It's not Prince Edward's potatoes, no.
Oh, sorry, that's King Edward.
Yeah.
Shiny coins.
Pictures on the... Bill, what's the Argentinian currency?
Dirty.
Paul and Rod, it's this man again.
Oh, yes, this is the wonderful Jeffrey Archer. He went to prison and he found that it meant being locked in.
And bars.
And bars, and it's full of convicts. Transferred him to the open-air prison this week. Next week, put him back to Lincoln. So he's been an administrative error.
Right. I think Paul should be the governor.
Yeah, I'll be the governor. I'll be the governor. Where do I apply to be the governor?
The last governor, Jeffrey Archer, was caught breaking his leave arrangement. The governor said, well, he promised me that he wouldn't break his arrangement. You think, he was in for perjury.
How was he punished? What was his punishment for...
One of his books was read to him.
He's banged up in prison. You're banged up in prison. It's awful. And you get yourself out and you smell freedom in your nostrils. And what do? You go to Gillian Shepherd's house for dinner. I think I'd rather be buggered in the cell blocks.
Christine, have you ever been to Gillian Shepherd's party?
No, I've never been to Gillian Shepherd's. Just for the record, we've never been to Jeffrey Archer's shepherd's pie and champagne parties either, because he's not one of my favourite people, never has been.
Why didn't you like him?
Because I met him about a week after he'd been elected the youngest Member of Parliament, and I thought, what a bumptious, obnoxious, self-important, over-opinionated prig. That was when I was...
So you're not always wrong?
I was 18. Well, listen, it was the same conference where I met my husband, you see, so...
You can't win them all, can you?
It's been a long week.
There was some astonishing...
At least I've been faithful.
Insight.
You've unleashed the nuclear deterrent earlier.
There were some astonishing insights into Lord Archer's spheres of reference in the diary. Day 14, breakfast. A packet of cereal called Variety. 8 different cereals in little boxes. I start off with something called Cocoa Puffs. This is then prisoner FF8282, or Lord Archer of Weston-super-Mare, who's currently residing at Her Majesty's pleasure, although surely not just hers. According to one of the security chiefs with whom Jeffrey Archer recently lunched, Archer is anti-drugs and was telling us of prisoners who are dealers and how drugs are getting in. So, E-Wing, if you're watching, his lordship's a grass.
This is the most extraordinary story, that Edwina Currie and John Major were lovers. Nobody could quite believe it. It's such an extraordinary coupling.
And how does she refer to Major in the diaries?
As B, isn't he? It's a secret code, B.
Yeah. She described this character B as a risk-taker who liked to walk on the edge. So, no great surprise that we never twigged that it was John Major she was.
If you were a man, Ian, I mean,
Yes.
if you were a man...
Yes.
Angus, is it any of... Well, you're all men, aren't you? Gosh, I've only just realised. If you were a man... would you sleep with Edwina rather than Claire Latimer?
You see, not being in the Conservative Party, it's not actually compulsory for us.
What part are you playing in the pantomime?
I'm the good fairy, of course.
What is Neil playing?
Is he wishy-washy?
No, wishy-washy isn't in Jack and the Beanstalk.
He's not playing the Beanstalk.
He's the King of Merrydale.
King of Merrydale.
Right.
Is that an elected post?
We were talking about, the shock revelation about John Major doing something interesting. The revelations have forced people to reassess John Major's years in office. One former colleague told the Sunday Mirror, "None of us could understand why John kept blocking Edwina's peerage." Well, I've heard some euphemisms in my time. Paul and Andrew, your police revolver. Whistling bobbies on the beat.
This is a made-up story, I think. Some bobbies have discovered that if they played music from old police programme hits like Z-Cars and stuff, crime dropped and people were greatly reassured.
This is the West Midlands Police, in fact. And where did the whistling come in then?
I think they've taped some of them whistling Z-Cars,
They have,
as Andrew said.
yeah. We do actually have a tape of them whistling.
Go on then.
That's Mission Impossible.
You get in there and note whistle it.
David Blunkett wants to reform the police.
That'd send his guide dog crazy, listen to that.
There's a variety of themes that they
Is
whistle. Yeah, it's not just Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Z-Cars,
Yeah.
The Bill, The Sweeney.
Dixon Dock Green.
Dixon Dock Green, Hawaii Five-0.
Well, that would be better.
How would that sound, Ian? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much.
I agree with
think he
Andrew. I
swallowed
think it's
it.
made up.
Yeah.
We say it's made up. We vote made up.
Well, you have to take it up with Sergeant Chris Dallin.
OK. Leave that with me.
This is West Midlands Police latest weapon in their fight against crime, tapes of policemen whistling
Has
TV
anyone got
themes.
a mobile?
I've got a mobile, yeah.
OK.
Whistling TV themes in shopping centres. As a result of which,
Let's get 192.
the as a result
Carry
of
on.
which the number of muggings has dropped dramatically. Although that's hardly surprising, as so is the number of shoppers.
Has this turned into Graham Norton, or have I come to the wrong studio?
Oh, God, I hope not.
In a speech to police officers earlier this year, David Blunkett said, "I'm shocked at the scale and cost of excess absenteeism."
Hello, yes, I'm
adding,
looking for the number. West Midlands Police Force. Keep going.
adding, adding, hello? That didn't work very well, I wonder why. Have you got the number?
Yeah, I've got the number.
Excellent. Was that director inquiries then?
Yeah.
Were they helpful?
They've given me the number, which is all you can ask of them. Hello, is that the West Midlands Police Force? Yeah. I wonder if you could settle a bet for me. Yes, there was a story that I saw in the papers the other day about the West Bromwich Police Force who are, yes, they've recorded various television theme tunes, they've whistled them, and they're playing them in West Bromwich to cut down crime. It's not bollocks, I assure you. Yeah, well, you don't know my number. Well, you can trace the call, I don't care.
Meanwhile, back at the
I wouldn't have
quiz.
any plans for tomorrow if I were you.
Paul and Katie, your Mad collection comprises Glenda Jackson, Bryan Adams, Bert Troutman and Patient X.
Well, Bert Troutman must be the sort of clue here. Famous for playing for Manchester City and famous for breaking his neck in an FA Cup final was the most famous thing. He was an ex-prisoner of war, played in goal for Manchester City, 1956. Bryan Adams is...
it's completely
Bryan
true.
Adams, playing with his arm in a cast.
Yeah, so it's got to be broken bones, isn't it?
Glenda Jackson, when was it? About March. She was on her way to... I think she was on her way to open a homeless centre in Camberwell. She fell, she broke her hip, she broke her wrist, and she still made a speech for an hour.
Yeah, it mainly consists of saying, me hip, me out! Get me to the hospital! I used to be on the telly.
But the photo of her having a fag is pertinent because apparently she didn't like the hospital's no smoking policy and was seen staggering out in a Zimmer frame to have a puff outside.
All right, she carried on making the speech. Bert Troutman carried on playing football, even though he'd broken his neck, and he's all in the famous newsreels, him rubbing the back of his neck. So Patient X must be the odd one out for some reason that I can't ascertain.
Is the right answer.
Right.
He's not been named because he featured in a report in the British Journal of Plastic Surgery. He broke his finger last month, undoing his partner's bra, and was rushed to hospital with major ligament damage.
What sort of bra strap was this that broke his finger?
We can only hazard a guess.
Was it made of some special webbing that sort of like rebounded back on him? What happened to the woman wearing the bra? She was catapulted out of the window. Sitting at the top of a flagpole with a bemused look on her face.
Yes.
Brian, we can't go on like this.
Only Callus Killjoy can fail to have been moved by the Jubilee celebrations last weekend. So, for Callus Killjoys everywhere, here's our tribute to those 50 glorious years as we present our royal test of regal trivia, majestically entitled, Would You Believe It?
You've splashed out on this, haven't you? It's an unfortunate choice of words, ain't it? Sorry
yes. An amusing play on words there, featured only in every tabloid this week. So, fingers on the buzzers. According to her decorator, what does the Queen have in her bath? Ian and Ross?
Is it an old man tied up?
No.
Hot water.
Very good, but something more than hot water we're looking for. A miniature crown is the right answer, and also a plastic duck.
Yeah.
That's until Prince Philip spotted it and blasted it out of the water. Next, renting what costs the Queen an estimated £30 a year? Ross and Ian?
Videos?
Sounds right.
In fact, it's only one video that she's had to pay the overdue fee on. So she's actually had King Ralph, the John Goodman vehicle. She's had that for about a year.
It's not actually videos, no, good guess. It is in fact jigsaws.
She rents jigsaws?
£30.
Who rents out jigsaws?
Yeah, I was thinking, where do you go?
Can't afford to buy a jigsaw. Rent one. £1 a piece.
It's an economy drive. You rent them from libraries.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Can I have one of Windsor Castle? Oh, I know where this bit goes.
Next, when two of the Queen's footmen were found in a bath together 6 years ago, what excuse did they give? Paul and Katie?
They were homosexuals.
No, they were implementing the Queen's economy drive, is the answer. In fact, they were actually helping the royal finances, as Edward was filming them at the time. Next, what's Prince Philip's nickname for Her Majesty? Paul and Katie?
The money.
It's not the money or Brenda, as far as I'm aware.
Madam Shiny?
George Bishop. That's his nickname for the Queen, George Bishop.
George Bishop, yeah. I can
Smiler.
see why you might suggest that. No, sausage is in fact...
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, he was heard to say, cheer up, sausage, it's not as bad as all that. Presumably because she's fat and German.
I don't think you can do that.
She's not particularly fat.
Nor terribly German, to be honest, either.
But it is good fun poking her with a fork.
Yeah.
And finally, what's the only occasion on which the Queen's been known to swear?
Was it when Germany lost to England in the 1966 World Cup final?
No, it wasn't.
That bugger has.
Oh, no, I remember now. Yes, it was when they were on a royal tour of China, and everybody was saying, you know, must be very diplomatic and all that. And Prince Philip had made an unfortunate gaffe, and she turned to him. She said, "Philip, give it a rest, will you?" Too much of that. Zip it.
Is that how she speaks?
That's how she speaks.
That's how she speaks normally?
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? No, this is equally untrue. It was when Michael Fagan got into her bedroom. The Queen was said to have said to a footman who came to her help, "Oh, come on, get a bloody move on." Michael Fagan spent 20 minutes in the Queen's bedroom, even with 4 children. That's longer than Philip's managed.
I don't think you can do bedroom jokes.
And so to the homely charms of our final missing words round, a variety of oblongs masking vital parts, each and every one taken from this week's newspapers, with the exception of those from tonight's guest publication, the toweringly impressive Diarrhea Digest, which blissfully describes itself as an irregular publication. So stand by for the oven that thinks what?
There's more to life than cooking.
The oven that thinks it's a Hoover.
It is a domestic appliance, yes.
A George Foreman multi-grill.
Yeah.
Toaster.
Electric kettle.
Cuddly toy.
Just to the left of the...
his and hers matching
just
bathrobes.
To the right of the cooker.
To the right of the cooker.
The fridge, yes,
Freezer.
is the right answer. Next, I've got what in my gut?
The ground force team.
Tower Masalata.
It's not, it's even more surprising.
Tennis racket, says Cat.
No, the answer is a brain. The frankly startling news that our guts have a primitive brain. Next, nudists with attitude sees what?
Quiz show host. Get them bloody clothes off.
Is it nudists with attitude sees up in the cold weather?
It isn't. It is, in fact, the high ground. And lastly, can what cure diarrhea? Quiz show host. No.
Cork?
It's coconut macaroons. This is the theory that coconut products can relieve chronic diarrhea. Although, according to Diarrhea Digest, we haven't seen any hard evidence backing this up. Good evening and welcome to Have I Got News For You, where this week's loser is presenting it. Yes, the words pot, kettle and smug git in for a long overdue kicking spring to mind. Ian and Dave.
I think this is a thing about party funding.
This has been one story of the week, isn't it? But the one I'm really interested in, Angus, is... You and this prostitute, how did you manage to get off paying her?
She didn't tell me that she's a prostitute.
She didn't tell you?
But you must have paid her for the article. I mean, I don't want to dwell on this, but... He made me groan all night. Yeah, what are you doing? Reading the autocue? Angus was the best lover I've ever had, and you didn't pay her. This is just unbelievable. We could have kept going till breakfast. What are you doing? Talking about football?
I suppose you didn't know where to put your face, really, once you'd heard the story. Or did you just take it on the chin?
There was an awful lot of detail, wasn't there?
Yes, yes. Remind me about some of it.
There is, by the way, no need to adjust your set. My face is this red.
He always found the time to talk, even when he was in the studio filming his show. Want to make any calls?
I think that's the most libelous bit of the lot, I think.
Yeah. I wondered if she was wired. Didn't she was wired?
Don't think she was the only one that was wired.
Is there an agency called Slappers R Us? You just sort of
I think there's
ring
quite
them
a few,
up.
yeah. Is that it, or do you want to... Because obviously there was another question that I was
There's a
asking
world
about.
war breaking out in India.
So the ethics committee that you were talking about, who's on it?
That was Lord Levy.
Right.
And Margaret Jay used to run the House of Lords, and they're going to check that all donations are above board to the Labour Party.
Right.
Are you convinced that this will clean up the Labour Party, then, this committee?
No.
You did describe yourself as a model of new Labour conformity.
Really? Oh, what was I on at the time?
Angus can sort you out. I want to see the £20 note, because there's no way you've spent it in the last week.
Didn't bring it with me, unfortunately. Sorry.
It's a lovely image, that, isn't it?
Yes. Well, why... Shall I quit while I'm down? This is Labour's new ethics committee. It isn't really. We're talking about a complete different story, but it was Labour's new ethics committee which will vet all donations over £5,000 to the party. One of Labour's most controversial donors was porn baron Richard Desmond. The Times recently printed a full list of Mr Desmond's publications, which include Big Girls, Mega Boobs, Big Runs International and The Very Best of Whoppers, which is also published under the title Stephen Byers' Autobiography.
Oh, it could be a list that you have for room service. It says here that you played gangster rap on the stereo.
Really?
What's gangster rap? How does that go?
No idea. Ian, what's gangster rap?
Do you know, that was one of the few terms in the article I didn't understand.
Dave, you're young. What's gangster rap?
I haven't got the faintest idea.
We haven't got the faintest idea.
Really?
But I didn't put it on the stereo and you did.
Oh, well, there we are. The scheme involves...
Just because it's gone down there, I don't think it's going to work.
Looking forward to its re-emergence. The scheme involves drivers being charged a fee for using motorways, with the exception of the M25, where it'll be pay and display.
Really? You didn't do the pay bit, did you?
No. The idea...
I'm surprised you had a nerve to turn up this week, really. You knew it was going to be like this.
Well, I did, yes, because of you two.
Yes, in a way, it's our fault, isn't it?
I certainly felt to blame personally, didn't you?
Yes. Sorry.
Thank goodness I took a line of coke before I came on.
This idea, the idea we were talking about, will mean yet more work for Transport Secretary...
You don't think any of this stuff's going to be used, do you? Nobody gives a damn about Stephen Byers this week, Transport Secretary, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares.
Yes. Well, I'm learning that slowly, yes.
This must have been one of those days when Stephen Byers could have leaked some more news.
And finally in this round, Paul and Ken, your total fabrication.
This is terrible, really. These chickens that were bred without feathers, so it's like your Sunday dinner walking around. I mean...
No, they bred them so that in the tropics you can keep them.
Yeah.
And they don't get too hot.
Really? That's horrible.
Yeah, it's totally unconvincing, isn't it?
And they're now teaching the chickens to eat sage and onion.
So what are some of the disadvantages of these birds?
They sing out of tune.
I should imagine they feel absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're completely shamefaced.
Yes. They get sunburn is actually the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, they turn red, yeah.
Yeah. Not dissimilar. They're not hardy enough to survive an English winter is the other drawback.
Neither would any of us running around naked all
Well, exactly.
the time.
I mean, you only have to look at a freezer in the supermarket. They're dead as mutton in there. I mean, clearly the cold doesn't agree with them at all.
What were some of the other genetic...
None of this is going to be used. I don't know, what are the other things that are genetic? Just move on quickly.
Genetically modified animals this week.
A giraffe with no neck, a horse that can speak, and a mouse that plays a mouth organ.
Yeah.
Move on. Next. Chickens with no clothes. Move on. Nuclear war's threatened this week.
Yes, you read about that then?
I couldn't find it in the papers.
Why does that not surprise me? This is the development of the world's first featherless chicken.
Yeah, we just said all that.
According to the Daily Mail, on Tuesday, scientists have also developed a piglet with a fluorescent snout and organs suitable for human use. Apparently it's working behind the bar at the Queen Vic. So, at the end of that round...
We should be safe from you?
I believe so.
Do you watch EastEnders?
Oh, yes, almost.
It's terrible at the moment, isn't it?
Oh,
Ian
dreadful.
Beale slept with a prostitute. She's threatening to blackmail him for money. So just not as lifelike as they used to be.
never
are they?
happened in real
Never
life.
happened in real life.
No. Paul and Ken, your tricky spinner. The shaving grace of Mr. Average.
This is one of those stories about how much the average man shaves in the course of a lifetime, and they've come up with some figure. If he didn't shave, his beard would reach from here to Manchester or London or whatever. So it's one of those stories, basically, about what the average man gets up to in his uneventful life.
Yes. What were the other fascinating facts?
It also said the average man has sex twice a week, which with people like you around means there's a lot of people getting nothing.
There were things like his final meal before execution.
Yes, he wants a steak.
Curiously.
The average man
Is the average man being executed? Gosh, I knew Blunkett was cracking down.
And 97% know who Mr. Blair is. 77% know who you are, apparently. Which is not bad.
That might go
factor.
up when they start paying the congestion charge, I think.
But you came second in a popularity poll, didn't you?
Yes, to the Pope, but it was a long time ago.
Did you feel,
Well, it was
slightly
quite
aggrieved?
interesting. It was that Today Man of the Year thing. And it was 1982, and I was being pilloried in the press, hate mail coming in. I turn on the radio, I'm second to the Pope.
What did that tell you?
Not to believe what crap I read in the papers.
Didn't you think...
In all cases, or...?
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
So it's not true, any of it?
The basic traits.
Is that what you're saying? It's not true? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry?
It's not true, that's what you're saying?
Elements are true, elements are untrue.
There was an elephant in there? Where'd you get the stamina from? So which bits aren't true, then?
The elephants, actually, I was making it up. What were we talking about? Oh, yes. A survey.
I was very popular, was where you stopped.
Oh, thank you, yes.
I wanted the question about the Roman transvestite this week.
Oh, yes, I
Did anyone read that?
Yeah.
It was just under all the stories about Angus, but it was rather good.
Remind me.
It was this, they found the remains of a Roman transvestite who lived happily in England. He belonged to the cult of this woman called Cybele, and all her followers used to go out into the streets, and if they'd been unfaithful, they would cut off their own testicles as a symbol of repentance.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank God we live in enlightened times.
Has anyone got a pair of nail scissors?
Yes, this is the profile of the average British man
My
based
God,
on
we're
figures.
still on that.
I can't believe it.
Sort of wrapping it up. Based on figures from the Office of National Statistics, apparently the average man uses the toilet 6 times a day and the lino round the base another 10. When it comes to sex, the average man lasts 3 minutes and 1 second, the 1 second presumably being the foreplay. And the average man is most likely...
gangster rap.
And so to the round we deem our last. Missing words is what it features, thereby giving rise to the expression final missing words round. A stack of headlines wrenched from the dailies, including many less or more from this week's guest publication, the frankly enthralling Newt's Week. An American publication featuring all the news from across the pond. So get down and get with. Young, free, single and what?
Ready lies host of Topical News Quiz.
Young, free, single and newt.
A newt? No.
It's
no.
personal ads column in the Newt.
It's not from
Good
Newt
sense
Week.
of humour.
Yes.
His own pond.
Depressed.
Depressed is nearer. Totally fed up, yes. According to a new study, 2/3 of young people between the ages of 15 and 35 are depressed and unhappy.
What a shame.
Yes, you'd be upset. Next, I what last week? Why did I bother?
Book a hotel room. Got me Barclay card dirty?
Hire the PR man.
Yeah, you must be paying him a fortune.
Thank goodness he's kept you out the press.
I made a speech, is the answer. Next, I let a robot what?
Host my quiz show. And there was a significant improvement.
Is it...
Relentless. Yes.
I let Rob...
Says the voice of the people. Or was that the news of the world?
I don't think they say that.
Is she a friend of yours, Angus? That's right, love. It's only another 20 minutes to go.
If you've got a friend, you're both in luck.
Good night.